Consistency in learning transforms ordinary minds into extraordinary thinkers. And the truth is, most people underestimate the power of showing up every single day. They wait for motivation, they wait for the perfect moment, they wait for life to become easy, and in that waiting, they lose years of potential growth. But you, my friend, you don't need perfect circumstances. You just need commitment. Imagine feeding your mind a little bit of wisdom every day, just like you feed your body. Imagine what would happen if you gave your brain the same discipline you give your phone battery. Charging it daily, protecting it, valuing it. That small act of consistency becomes a silent revolution happening inside you. It builds habits, shapes perspectives, sharpens your thinking, and slowly turns you into someone even you didn't know you could become. People often ask, how do I become confident? Or how do I become successful? And the answer is simple but powerful. Learn something every day, even if it is one page, even if it is one lesson, even if it is 5 minutes. When you learn daily, you create a mental muscle that refuses to stay ordinary. You start noticing opportunities you once ignored. You begin solving problems you once feared. You develop clarity where once there was only confusion. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is magical. It doesn't scream for attention, but it transforms you quietly. And one day, you wake up and realize you think differently, speak differently, and choose differently because your mind has expanded. That is what daily learning does. It builds you from the inside out. So don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for inspiration. Don't wait for someone to push you. Start today, start small, but start with conviction. Because the moment you decide to learn consistently, you step into a version of yourself that is stronger, braver, wiser, and unstoppable. Self-education gives you freedom, a kind of freedom that no one can ever take away from you, and yet so many people never experience it because they keep waiting for the perfect teacher, the perfect class, the perfect moment. But when you decide to learn on your own, when you take responsibility for feeding your mind, something powerful happens inside you. You stop depending on someone else to open doors for you, because you start building your own doors. You stop waiting for opportunities, because you begin creating them through the knowledge you choose to gain every single day. That is the true meaning of freedom. Freedom from excuses, freedom from limitations, freedom from the belief that you are not enough. When you teach yourself, you step into a world where your growth no longer depends on your environment. You break the idea that you need perfect resources or perfect circumstances to grow. You begin to realize that every book, every tutorial, every conversation, every experience has the power to educate you if you are willing to learn. And this realization lights a fire inside you, a fire that says, I can rise, I can evolve, I can become more than I ever imagined. Self-education removes the walls around your mind and replaces them with possibilities. It shows you that learning is not a privilege, it is a choice that you get to make every day. And the most beautiful part is that once you start learning for yourself, you stop feeling stuck. You stop feeling powerless. You stop feeling like life is happening to you. Instead, you start shaping your own path. You start rewriting your story. You start becoming someone who moves with purpose, confidence, and clarity, because a mind that chooses to learn is a mind that refuses to be trapped, a mind that refuses to be limited, a mind that refuses to stay the same. That is the freedom self-education brings into your life. Small daily improvements become massive life changes, even if they look tiny, quiet, almost invisible in the beginning. The problem is that people only celebrate big achievements, but they forget that every great transformation started with one small step, one small habit, one small decision that didn't feel powerful at the time. But you, if you choose to grow a little every single day, you will witness something extraordinary. You will start building momentum. You will start building confidence. You will start building a version of yourself that is unshakable. Because true growth doesn't happen in loud moments. It happens in silent repetitions, in small choices, in the commitment you make when nobody is watching. That is where champions are shaped. That is where powerful minds are formed. When you learn one new thing each day, when you practice one skill for just a few minutes, when you push your limits even slightly, your future shifts. You may not see it instantly, but inside you something is expanding. Something is strengthening. Something is evolving. Those tiny improvements are like drops of water carving through stone. Slow, consistent, unstoppable. And then one day, you look at yourself and realize you can think faster, speak clearer, understand deeper, and handle life with a strength you never knew you had. All because you chose to keep improving, even when progress felt small. Most people quit because they don't see immediate results. But you must understand that giant leaps are built from small steps. Little habits turn into powerful routines. Simple actions turn into lifelong skills. Slow growth turns into unstoppable mastery. Every small improvement you make is a vote for the future you want, a reminder that you are moving forward, even if the world can't see it yet. And the more you keep going, the more those tiny changes begin to transform everything. Your mindset, your energy, your discipline, your life. So don't wait for big miracles. Create them, one small improvement at a time. The more you learn, the more confident, courageous, and self-aware you become, because every piece of knowledge you gain adds another layer of strength to your identity. People often think confidence comes from success, from achievements, from applause, but real confidence comes from understanding yourself and understanding the world around you. And that understanding comes from learning. When you educate your mind, even a little bit every day, you begin to see life differently. You stop fearing challenges because you know you can handle them. You stop doubting your voice because your mind is full of thoughts that deserve to be heard. You stop shrinking yourself because you finally realize how capable you truly are. Learning opens your eyes. It sharpens your awareness. It awakens parts of you that were sleeping. You start noticing your strengths, your weaknesses, your patterns, your potential. And instead of running away from who you are, you begin embracing it with compassion and courage. Knowledge gives you clarity. Clarity, what you want, what you deserve, and what you are no longer willing to tolerate. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, choose differently, because your decisions are now guided by wisdom instead of fear. And there is something incredibly empowering about becoming your own source of growth. When you learn, not because someone forced you, but because you chose to, your confidence becomes unshakable. It doesn't depend on other people's validation. It doesn't disappear when someone criticizes you. It doesn't fade when life gets tough. It grows stronger because it is built on your effort, your dedication, your inner work. Every lesson you learn becomes a shield that protects you, a tool that guides you, a light that shows you the way forward. So learn boldly, learn passionately, learn fearlessly. Because the more you learn, the more you rise above the version of yourself that once felt small. And the more you rise, the more you begin to realize that confidence is not a gift life gives you. It is a gift you build within yourself every single day through the power of learning. Knowledge is not power until you apply it. Because learning without action is like collecting keys and never opening a single door. So many people read books, watch motivational videos, attend courses, take notes, but nothing in their life changes. Not because they are not learning, but because they are not using what they learn. Real transformation begins the moment you take that knowledge and turn it into movement, into decisions, into habits. That is where the magic happens. Knowledge sitting in your mind is just information. But knowledge applied becomes power, strength, and direction. And when you dare to act on what you know, even if the step is small, you start unlocking parts of your life you never thought were accessible. You must understand that knowing what to do and doing it are two completely different worlds. Anyone can learn, but very few commit to applying that learning when it feels uncomfortable, when it demands discipline, when it requires courage. But the truth is this, growth lives on the other side of application. When you apply what you learn, you begin shaping your identity. You start proving to yourself, I am someone who follows through. That alone builds confidence faster than any lesson ever will. You begin seeing results, even small ones, and those results inspire you to keep going. You start realizing that the gap between who you are and who you want to become is filled with applied action. And yes, sometimes applying new knowledge feels scary. Sometimes you fear failing, being judged, or making mistakes. But mistakes are not your enemy. In fact, they are your greatest teachers. Every time you apply what you know, you sharpen your skills, you deepen your understanding, you strengthen your resilience. You move from theory to experience, and experience is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. So don't let your knowledge stay locked in your mind. Put it into practice. Use it. Test it. Live it. Because when you take action on the wisdom you gain, you don't just learn, you transform. And transformation is the real power you have been searching for all along. Your growth inspires others. When you teach yourself, you elevate everyone around you. Because whether you notice it or not, your energy affects people. Your discipline affects people. Your progress affects people. Humans don't learn from speeches, they learn from examples. And the most powerful example you can ever offer is your own transformation. When you choose to grow every single day, when you feed your mind with knowledge, when you improve even a little bit, people start noticing. They watch you rise, they watch you change, they watch you break old limits, and something inside them whispers, if they can grow, maybe I can too. That is the ripple effect of your self-education. When you become a student of life, you naturally become a teacher of life without even trying. Not because you stand on a stage, not because you lecture others, but because your actions speak louder than any words. When people see you handling challenges with wisdom, they learn. When they see you speaking with clarity, they learn. When they see you making better choices, staying disciplined, staying committed, they learn. You become a living reminder that growth is possible, that change is possible, that a better life is possible. Your self-education becomes a silent light that others follow. And the beautiful part is that you don't have to be perfect to inspire others. You just have to be growing. Even your struggles teach people. Even your failures teach people. Even your small wins teach people. Every time you choose learning over comfort, you unlock a door not just for yourself, but for everyone who watches you. That is how leaders are formed, not by force, but by example. So keep learning, keep growing, keep expanding your mind, not only for your sake, but for the people who silently admire your strength. Your growth elevates your environment. Your mindset influences your family, your friends, your community. One educated mind can awaken many. And when you rise, you give others permission to rise too.